Yeah.
Yep. Good. All right then. I think we're pretty much ready to go.
All right.
Okay, guys. Let's welcome and thank you for joining me for doing this interview, which is really, really appreciated. So yeah, if you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Dan Kopachinski, also known as Daggan on the forums and in game. I'm the creative director for Kihon, and I'm heading up design of the game.
Nice.
And I'm Luke Boltman, known as Hawkfain. I head up community and some marketing and brand stuff for them. So, hey everybody, excited to do this and show off some of this game to you guys.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I'm really enjoying it so far. As I said, I only picked it up like just over a week ago now. But no, I'm really enjoying it. My viewers are really enjoying it. There's a lot of people from my viewers that have joined in on it, so it's really good. It's really good.
Nice, we appreciate that. You know, we're listening to a lot of feedback and making lots of changes, and I feel we're close, but I think we're far from a finished product. I mean, a game like this really is never a finished product. We're going to be constantly evolving it, and the game that we created years and years ago, Pax Nora, I'm sure a lot of our players now have also played Pax Nora, and they'll attest to the fact that we really do, at least when I ran the company, we do listen to the community, and we kind of evolve it according to how people play it, what they want to play, and it's just kind of nice to have the community involved.
Yeah, it is definitely. Yeah. So yeah, so because you mentioned Pax Nora, the game you've played before. I haven't personally played it, but I've had a lot of my viewers say, "Oh, you should go play Pax Nora," which, wait a minute, these guys made the same game, so yeah, it's pretty good. So let's just ask. So where did you start with this game? Let's just ask straight from the beginning. Where did it start? Obviously, you started with the idea of Pax Nora, of course.
Sure.
But then, when did it suddenly evolve as I wanted to do something a bit different from Pax Nora?
Well, when we started Kihon, we were really focused mostly on mobile applications, mobile games, and I always had kind of the thought in the back of my head that creating an updated version of Pax Nora would be really awesome. Just because Pax Nora was so old, it was done in Java. I guess we built it 7 years ago. Pax Nora was released, and we really wanted a game like that would just be perfect for mobile devices, tablets, iPhone, that sort of thing. So when we started with the idea of Conquest, we really wanted to kind of build the game from the ground up to make it accessible to those new devices that are so popular right now. So right now we have it for Mac and PC and Steam, and the mobile build's running. We just haven't released it yet.
Okay. Cool.
We have a bit of optimization left, and that's going to be one of our main goals. Is kind of the end of the summer, beginning of the fall, is to have that released.
Will it be like cross-platform as well
Absolutely.
Mobile? Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's perfect.
No reason not to.
Yeah.
I mean, right now I could play on my iPad and just play all my games against other people playing on a PC. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, definitely, that's fun. Okay, so so if you're brand new to the game, what do you kind of use to entice people to keep playing and to get people into the game in the first place?
It's like, what kind of game is it?
Kind of, yeah, essentially, yeah.
So it kind of takes elements from a CCG, but it becomes a tactical strategy game. So almost like a tabletop war game.
Yeah.
And I've always been, obviously, coming from creating Pax Nora years ago, there really wasn't anything on the market like that. I loved trading card games, but I really loved tabletop warfare and tactical strategy games even more.
Yes.
And I felt the combination of the two, kind of the meta game, building your army and stuff, it just seemed to make sense to do that in a card view, and to have that collectible aspect. I've always been a huge fan of like just amazing fantasy artwork. I've always been a comic book fan, and I've always been drawn to just amazing artists. I just have so much respect for them, and
I
think a game.
I agree with you on that front.
Yeah, I mean, it's just inspirational for me. I mean, that's, somebody asked me how do you get inspired on a day-to-day basis, and a lot of that goes back to, childhood reading comics, and just, creating worlds. So the game is, if you're into hardcore strategy games, this game really scratches that itch. It does for me. I mean, and it seems to be doing that with our customers as well. So.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It definitely does that. Like I love the building decks. I didn't used to be, but recently I'm getting into a lot of TCGs and card games and stuff. I stream a lot of other kind of card games and stuff online. But when I came across this, I was like, because I love the combat system, like the tactical based system from like Heroes of Might and Magic. So combining the two is just awesome. It's really cool, and I love the dwarves, by the way. They're awesome.
Yeah. Well, the thing I like about it is it's a game within the game. I mean, you can spend hours just tinkering with your decks and, fusing some guys up and working on the crafter. But the deck building, you can just spend endless amount of time doing that, coming up with cool strategies and different kind of little mechanics that other people haven't thought of before you even actually get into playing the game, which is really appealing. And once we start releasing additional content, you'll see the options for deck building are just going to multiply. And what we found, the more we release stuff, the more people do things that we don't even anticipate. I mean, I'll create, right now I have about 4 expansions kind of planned out.
Oh, wow.
And it's all very rough. I mean, obviously, expansion 4 is done in pencil, because a lot of things get changed based on, what people are playing, what people what strategies they're building with their decks.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And what is, say, too powerful, or what is, what people seem to be the top decks. Yeah. And what I'll do is I'll add some counters to those things as we get going. So, and it just creates all kinds of stuff, but people wind up doing things that I didn't even expect, which is, to me, is a lot of fun. When I get down and I play the game and somebody hits me with a combo that I didn't even anticipate, it just makes me happy. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah,
exactly. Like, I haven't had a chance to go through all the major combos and stuff only with the dwarf faction, because that's the only ones I'm playing right now. Just getting used, because obviously coming into the game there is a lot to take in straight away. There's a lot to take in. Because obviously when playing any new card game, you're looking at how many cards do you have in the game, by the way, right now?
I think there's 150, I think. Something around 150.
Yeah. So coming in and having to learn 150 cards is quite a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And then learning the strategies, so just playing around with decks, I completely understand that. So yeah, exactly. So, moving on to you talked about the new expansions and things like that. So, what kind of have you got planned for because obviously you said you got a new expansion coming out, and you say about a month's time.
Yes.
So, how often are you going to be releasing expansions, and how big are they going to be? And also, my viewers are asking, how are you going to be able to acquire these new cards? Are they just going to be added to the pool of the already existing card packs that you buy, or are they going to be separate?
So I think we're still debating a lot of things, but I'm 99% sure that the expansion packs are going to be separate. What we want to do is, if people that are buying packs and stuff like that, we don't want to mix the new content with the old content. At least for our goal is to release an expansion at least every 3 months, and maybe even some little mini expansions in the middle of those. So we want to just keep coming out with content. So the plan is, say you're a hardcore player and you've acquired every card already. We don't want you to have to get a bunch of dupes to get the new content, right?
Yeah.
So by keeping those separate, I think is a little friendlier. And what we're going to do is, there'll be a window where the only way you can get the new content, is through purchasing. But as that window closes, then they'll be out into the reward pool. They'll be crafted. The heroes you can buy with gold. And that's something we've discussed last week, I think, me and you. And it's something that we're working on right now, and I think that should be ready to go in a few weeks. So the original 3 heroes you'll be able to buy with gold. Then when the new expansion comes out, those heroes will not be able to be purchased for gold for a certain amount of time. But then the other 3 original heroes, so like Crack, Blight, and Goran, will then be purchasable with gold as well. So actually you can purchase with both. So we'll have like seasons. When the expansion stuff comes out, we'll have a new tournament qualifier going, and then the prior release will all kind of drop down, become a lot more accessible just through playing.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because I was going to ask you about the kind of paywalls that you've put in. Obviously, a lot of people are very passionate about kind of free-to-play games because they join in and they want to be able to get everything without having to spend a dime. And I understand that obviously you guys have to make some money out of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the balance. I mean, we want to make everyone happy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we have to make a balance. So we have to make some money, but we want everything to be acquired by any player. So the difference is going to be time. So if you want stuff faster, you can pay. If you want to wait, you can earn gold. You can earn the cards in game. Then when they shift to the next season, you can acquire that stuff. But if you want it now, you can pay. And I'm hoping that balance kind of makes us viable as a business and makes our players happy and satisfied that they're able to obtain everything over time.
Yeah. So, well, actually, Mr. Burks, I was just about to ask that. So you're planning like the competitive scene. You're talking about seasons and stuff like this. So when you're going about seasons, are you going to be like phasing out sets? Are you going to be phasing out certain heroes potentially, eventually? Because obviously, if you just keep adding to the pool, obviously it's going to get incredibly difficult to normalize the meta.
Right. With Pox Nora, we never phased anything out. So, and it was a challenge, and we would actually go back and redesign some original content, some older content to keep it in line with the new stuff. So, we'll see how it goes. There we might get to a point where we do have to phase it out. Yeah. But right now, I'm not designing it with that in mind. But that could change.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Okay then. So one thing that's it actually quite confused me at the start. Between like the crafting and fusion. So could you just like go through how the crafting works and how the fusion works and what kind of things you're going to be adding to that in the future?
Sure. Yeah. So number one, we're going to be working on tutorials for both of those mechanics.
Yeah, that definitely needs.
So we have stuff on the forums, and our players have been really good in the community, kind of helping people figure out how to do it. But it's not just intuitive off the top of your head when you go to the interface. But what fusion is you can take a soldier card and fuse other cards, whether it's duplicates or cards of a faction that you're not interested in playing, and destroy those cards to make the target card stronger. So right now, each soldier can gain up to 10 levels. And with those level advances, they gain slight attribute increases. We stayed away from increasing abilities or adding abilities and stuff like that. And we had that in Pox, but it became so overwhelmingly difficult for new players to assimilate into old players. I really wanted players to see, like, say, an undead ranger and know exactly that guy has rush and he's got double attack, instead of, what level is it? Maybe it's got, blight as well, or it's got, something else. It's just too much information to remember. So we're just focusing on attribute increases. He's a little more powerful as he gets up in level. So nothing game breaking, but it is a difference.
That's what I've seen. Like I've seen some like that's talking about, some people are asking actually about like the kind of what are you planning to do to obviously expand the community base and expand everything, because as I said, some people in my chat were complaining about, obviously they're coming against people with really high level characters. Like they're coming against a guy and he's got kind of all level 5+ characters. And I know you're saying, I understand it's not that much of an advantage, but it still is an advantage. So
it is an advantage. And I think what we're seeing is we reset the elo and the rankings last week.
Okay.
So what happened? What's going to happen there for the first like week or so is you're going to have our range of the elo ratings for the matchmaker. It's all normalized. So you're going to be getting a new player matched with, a top guy that's got a lot of cards and
okay, I see.
high level cards, but just for like a week or so. So that's not going to be the norm. And as these seasons last 3 months, we're not going to be doing these resets willy-nilly. What you're going to find is the people that are at the top of the leaderboard are going to be the same kind of people. They're going to have the same kind of ability. They're going to have the same kind of deck composition and level curve and stuff like that. The other thing we've talked about, we haven't implemented this yet as well, but creating a way to really take the card level in the deck into account when we do a matchmake, when we match players.
Yeah.
So we haven't done it yet, but it's something that I have on the board and is a possibility if it's needed. But I really think as the elos all change, I mean, it's amazing just in a week since we reset how the elos have really spread out already.
Yeah.
So I think it's looking like it's working as intended.
Yeah. So talking about your community and everything thus far, like, how has your community support been? Because I know you've got did you kickstart the game? Yes, is that correct? Or
it wasn't Kickstarter. We had our own crowdfunding.
Yeah, crowdfunding, and that's still going on as far as I'm aware, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah, because I had a look at it the other day. So like, yeah, what's your community like, and how kind of big is your community? Because you're talking about elo and stuff. So how many kind of actively ranked players do you have at this moment? Not obviously a specific number, but just a general idea of kind of.
Right now, I think we have, and this is really I'm guessing. I think we have like 1,000 ranked players at this point, and it's kind of probably not that accurate because we did reset the rankings. So now it has to people that just play extended matches. Not all of them have finished. So
so do the extended matches get ranked as well? By the way, sorry.
They do. They do.
Okay.
Once they're finished, but the problem is a ranked match could take over a week to complete. People are taking their time, taking turns, so they won't be up. Those people won't be registered as completed a ranked match until that actually happens. But yeah, the Steam pre-release has been great. We got a shout out by Tycho at Penny Arcade, which is always nice. He's always been supportive of the stuff that we do, so we're excited about that. And then once we actually officially release the game, we'll be doing a bunch of marketing and targeting different markets.
Of course. When about? Can you give us a rough date for when you're gonna, or rough estimate when you're gonna release? Or is it just done when it's done?
Yeah, I mean we've been really taking our time in beta, and we started off like with a very small closed beta, but we got some really, really good players that really helped us identify some holes and some weaknesses. And just since the Steam launch, a great influx of very new constructive vocal players that are really, like yourself, that are helping us kind of shape it even further. So we're going to keep doing that for probably the next month or so, but the hope is that we get to that we'll officially release like end of May would be great. But
end of May. Oh wow, that soon. Oh wow, I didn't realize that soon.
The way I see it is we could actually release once we have the additional content. But for us though, like I said, a game like this is never going to be truly like, hey guys, we're done. I have a roadmap of things that we're going to be adding to the game, throughout the next year. So it's going to be constantly evolving. We have the player auction house we're going to be working on. Just in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be adding the ability for players to create multiple decks per hero, to be able to duplicate decks and rename them and all that normal fun stuff you could do with most deck builders. So that's going to be good. We're going to overhaul the store a little bit, and that's where we're going to add the ability to buy the other heroes for gold. Let's see. Got a whole bunch of stuff. That we're
Yeah, no,
doing.
it sounds all of it sounds really good. But you were talking about obviously like what are you doing in regards to like the competitive scene? Obviously, you've got the ELO and everything like that. Are you going to be implementing like hosting your own tournaments and everything like that?
Absolutely.
Because I see
Yeah.
you hosted one before, a tournament already. How did that go?
It went great. I mean, I think it was the players were enthusiastic about it because we're doing everything manually. It wasn't the smoothest tournament in the world,
Yeah.
but
I can attest to that. Yeah.
yeah,
I've
but
hosted tournaments
still,
and stuff like that before. It's not easy.
no, it's not. I mean, we have players all over the world. I think for the final 8, we had people in the U.S., Canada, Estonia, someone from Romania. So I mean, it was
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
Australia. It's like trying to sync up times when players are on at the same time. It was a challenge, but it was great, and I think everybody enjoyed it. But we are building an automated tournament system. We're going to have
cool.
draft tournaments. We're also going to have just casual tournaments. So say 8 guild members want to get together and just do a tournament
Oh, so
with
it's
each
just
other.
like like a tournament queue. So you queue with 8 other people and just queues you in a tournament.
Exactly.
Oh, that's brilliant. I really like that. That's cool.
And we'll have our own that are prized and that actually, count towards something larger. So we're still mapping all that out, but that's definitely on the horizon.
Yeah. So with tournaments and stuff, you're going to be having a spectator mode eventually.
Spectator mode, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
We will be having.
Is that coming soon? Then I assume because.
Yes, it is. It's coming soon, but I'd say when I say coming soon, I always get in trouble for this. It's high up on the list, but I think like I said, the multiple hero, the multiple decks per hero is coming next. Then I think we're going to be working towards the trader/auction house, and then tournaments is probably the next big thing. So.
Oh, awesome! Well, yeah, that sounds really good. So, like talking about expanding the game. So, where would you like to see this kind of game in like a year, like 2 years, kind of something like that?
Well, I just. If we create if we release expansion content every 3 months, I think we'll have a really awesome selection of heroes and decks. Because it's just as the game evolves, it makes playing that much more interesting. Because each deck/hero really has its own playstyle. Each faction has its own playstyle, and each hero within the factions are each a little different. And as we create more, when you go and queue up for a game, instead of matching with one of 6 heroes, when you're matching against one of 24 heroes, it definitely increases the replayability and makes things interesting.
Yeah, of
so
course, yeah.
I'm excited about that for sure.
Yeah. So you've got 3. You said you've got 3 factions so far. Are you adding any more factions on top of that, apart from the heroes that are already
No.
Haha. Yes. Well, to start off, no. So this next expansion, we're kind of building a story and a narrative within the 3 factions. But as we grow, I have a feeling there's going to be turmoil within factions, and there's going to be some splintering. So
okay.
Always happens. So we'll see. But we're not going to go crazy and have
of course,
8 to 10 factions. But I could see 5 would be manageable.
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
And then we've also kind of planned out some promotional kind of cross faction heroes. So we could wind up having heroes that use 2 different resources, which could make deck building very interesting.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So yeah, you were talking about you bringing in an auction house. How's that going to work with the game?
So what we're going to do with that, and little asterisks, we're still kind of making sure everything is going to go the way we want it to, as far as how we're going to implement this. But my initial thoughts are it's going to be a system where you could go to the card page, view any card, and you'll be able to see individual cards for sale. And those will actually be put into the store by players.
Okay.
So it'll be like a queue system, and it'll be based on supply and demand. So each card rarity will have a set base price, and then as demand goes up and supply is down, the price is going to slowly increment up. and then if a card isn't purchased for a while, the price will slowly go down.
Okay, yeah,
So,
I see.
yeah, it's kind of an interesting system. We did that with Pax Nora with our single rune store.
Okay.
And it worked out really well. So I think we're going to do it again, and this way players can, it's not a pure trader per se, but it's effectively, it accomplishes the same thing. If you have a card that you don't need and it's coveted by other players, you can put it up on the store, and then you'll get, in-game currency for that card.
Okay,
and then you can use it to buy packs or buy another hero or whatever.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good.
Yeah,
So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's really cool. So there's going to be no just set trading. So it's going to be technically a CCG with some kind of auction house kind of value.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And one thing I did want to ask you about actually, which I'm kind of interested, because I'm always interested in games like this, about the lore of the game. There's not much kind of lore really told in the main kind of game itself.
There's not within the game as it is now, and we are going to be adding that ability to see lore on individual cards.
Yeah.
Right now, we kind of have stories. We have stories for each hero that are on our forums, and we just need to migrate that to the game. And it's really important to me because I'm always very attracted to lore, and it kind of makes me a little more connected to games. But it's just, we're still kind of at that point where we're creating content and the really important systems of the game. So it's hard for me to push that onto dev workload. So it's going to get there. It might be after launch, but the stories are up there on the forums. If you go to the forums, I think it's under each faction, and then it'll kind of give you a preview of the heroes, and then the lore.
Cool, yeah. I love to read that. I like lore. I like lores in kind of card games because usually it's really intricate and really cool, but it's not really shown anywhere. Because there's obviously not really a story. So, but no, that's cool.
I have a full-on story going on with the world, and at some point, when things die down, I'd love to work with some of the artists and create kind of like a mini graphic novel to kind of have out there as part of the game. It'd be really, really fun.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I love graphic novels, so yeah, definitely. Yeah. So this is just a little one that was from one of my viewers, Dynasty Star. He said how do you kind of when you're coming with new ideas for new factions and stuff, how do you this is something I ask kind of a lot of devs, and I think it's always a fun question to ask. How do you get your creative juice flowing? Do you do something random? Because I've heard some stories of people doing some completely weird stuff to kind of get them in involved in the card. And also on top of that, what's the process of making a new card or making a new champion? How do you go about it in your head?
Oh, sure. Yeah, for me, I'm going to keep all the really weird stuff to myself, kind of as my secret sauce. Yeah. But again, I'm extremely inspired by, other games, comics, movies. I'm just a huge fan of science fiction and fantasy, and always have been since I was a kid. And so I stay up in the middle of the night just thinking about stuff, just thinking about new things that would be cool, that would work with other things. But as far as how we go about building stuff, my team really made some great tools for creating additional content, and that's been fantastic. I mean, I've been able to create the majority of this first expansion. I'd say at least 75% of the abilities and stuff on my own, just scripting, and I'm not a programmer at all. So it's a really nice system that these guys created to kind of give me that flexibility. And cool. And then the 25% that I couldn't do, then I have some of the guys kind of work on those, but by them creating or helping me, they're actually creating additional hooks, so the next expansion will be even easier. So as we go, it's kind of, we're building on the tools, and it just makes it easier and easier the more we go along.
Yeah, that's cool. So how big is your team?
We're a small team. We're under 10.
Under 10,
so
okay, yeah.
Under 10, yeah.
That's cool. So how kind of just asking this, just as interest to myself, how many kind of artists and coders and ratio of kind of people have you got within your team?
Sure. See, I'm the designer. We have 2 full-time artists, and then we use someone as a contractor every now and then for some effects and stuff like that. And then everybody else are programmers.
Okay, cool.
So we have client guys, server guys, guys that kind of do both. Yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Let me just check if I've got any more questions here. I think you kind of answered most of them, really.
Cool.
So yeah, the new of your art direction and any planned changes for the future art direction wise.
Art direction, that would be Brian Ripkowski. Amazing fantasy artist, well, amazing all-around artist, but he just really does a great job with.
Yeah, I have to say the art is really nice. I really like the kind of the style of it. So.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. Because especially with card art, it's like sometimes hit or miss.
Yeah.
The way you've designed your cards it's very different from other TCGs. Obviously,
yeah, we
kind of animation in there and stuff.
We kind of wanted to balance the kind of the hero kind of awesome artwork with the in-game characters, right? So we didn't really want to pay the same, create like full-on card art for every single card. We wanted to kind of make the hero special in that respect, but I really like having the animated soldier cards. So you see exactly what they're going to be in the game, and I love the style he came up with for the spell art. Yeah. I think it's really, really stylistic and cool.
Yeah, it's really pretty cool. So yeah.
And I think the second half of that question, I don't see us making any huge stylistic changes as we go. I think we're going to try and kind of keep it the same. But this latest expansion, what you're going to see is, I really think, just because of being better acquainted with the process and having a little more time, these guys are just, he nailed it out of the park. I mean, I think the quality is going up from the initial release, so I'm excited about that.
All right,
and I think it'll continue to do so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's really good. D-Win said, when you lose a practice match against a bot that you haven't beaten, you can keep replaying them and getting turn rewards as long as you never beat them. Is this intended?
Well, it's intended. There's probably going to be a time that we put some kind of checks and hooks into that to prevent abuse. But, realistically, if someone wants to farm that way, I just think they're not having the best experience in the game. So, if you're willing to spend hours repeatedly doing something that's not that enjoyable to get extra cards, go ahead, I guess. I mean, personally, I would rather queue up for 30 extended matches with real players and take those turns and get the same amount of rewards, but I'm actually in a competitive match, I'm having fun, I'm learning, and I'm accomplishing something. So I think the only person that's getting cheated is the person that's doing that.
Yeah, fair
really.
Enough. Fair enough.
And it's a shame, because I think you'll get burned out on the game, because it's to me, that's not fun. But just if you play the game normally, it's a hell of a lot more fun.
Yeah.
So do that.
Yeah, Windlord asks, how long will the exclusivity period be for paying users on the new stuff?
I'm not completely sure. We're still debating that stuff internally. But, we've talked about it being the whole season. So until we release expansion 2. So if you want the new content, you're going to have to, buy the hero. Or you can wait until expansion 2 comes out, and then you will get those things for free.
Okay.
So we're still debating it.
Yeah. Because I've seen that kind of thing in other TCGs before. Because you have to remember that this game is free to play essentially. So
right.
So if you wanted to be competitive, it's technically like a subscription kind of ish. You pay every new set, so you get the new cards and stuff. But
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
for us,
the heroes aren't that expensive. Actually, they're not that expensive at all.
No,
I think
and
it's £3 I think, something like that. It's not that much for a hero.
that's all funny money to me. I don't even know what that means. No, but we're giving an enormous amount of stuff for free. I mean, the cards that you get, I think it was Fast Pasta, pretty much played all through beta, just with acquiring cards in his free deck, and he was the top player for a very, very long time. And we want to be able to do that. We want players to be able to acquire the cards and be competitive as a free player. And the new content, it's not going to be more powerful. It's not going to be like, I need to have this to be competitive. It's, if you want something new and you want the new shiny thing, and you need it right now, then you can pay us. But if not, I mean, there's going to be 6 heroes and starter decks and decks that you can play for free.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a good balance.
Yeah. But the other cards in the set will not be any new card in the set will not be available. Is that correct for that period? Or available for free players?
Correct.
Or is it just the hero?
It's the cards. The whole thing won't be available for a certain amount of time. We will have some cards and stuff that you can craft. So and that's you get those through playing. But the new content, it's got to be premium for a little bit of window there.
So is there any plan to add fusion to spells or enchantments from D-Wind?
No, not at this time.
Okay. So will there be like a map selection, and maybe possibly a map editor at some point as well?
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. Map editor really wouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
So that is definitely a possibility. We'll just have to create the tool and make the map editing a little more user friendly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I could see that happening. It's not high up on the list right now, but that would be awesome.
Yeah. Because how many maps do you have right now? Did you say 6 or 7?
Yeah, I think we have maybe 8 different layouts. There's 3 different environments, but 8 different layouts.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Also, one thing I was going to ask, are you going to have, obviously, different types of game mode? Obviously, it's just like the 1v1s. You're going to have maybe like 2v2s, 3v3s, which I think would be awesome. Just things like this, or maybe a different kind of, not just a square map, just this like a different shaped map, or one with different paths, different pathways, things like this.
That's definitely a possibility too. We kind of stuck with this map configuration, thinking tablets and mobile in mind.
Yeah, of course.
But there's no reason later on we couldn't come out with larger maps for PC users only. So again, would love to do that. Not super high up on the list right now. But yeah, it's definitely things that we're talking about.
Yeah, because I think multiplayer stuff like 2v2s and things would be great. I think that'd be awesome. Or
2v2 would be great.
Or like 1v1v1v1 kind of thing, like 4 players all against each other as well. That'd be really nice.
So in Pox Nora we did 2v2.
Yeah.
And much later, I mean, I think that was a year and a half, 2 years after launch, we wound up doing 2v2. So yeah, I would love to do it. Absolutely. Yeah, 1v1v1 would be awesome too.
Yeah, it would.
Be really cool.
Yeah. Mr. Burks asks, don't certain spells lose their effectiveness as more players obtain 10 units?
Explain.
I think he means like, because with spells, do they actually take into effect armor as well or not?
Some do, some don't.
Oh, okay. I think that's
so. Was the question once a soldier reaches level 10?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Most spells that do damage, they do not take defense into account. So I don't think that's going to be much of an issue.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. No, you don't ask if there's going to be some campaigns, like in Pox Nora.
Yes,
there
will
more,
be.
Some more kind of single player content if people want to go down that route.
Absolutely, and that's going to be. We need to optimize the AI quite a bit, speed it up, and I would love to have additional hooks for triggers and little things to kind of add a little more story and lore into the campaigns. So we kind of started doing it a little bit, and for me, it wasn't good enough to release to the public just yet.
Yeah.
So definitely going to have campaigns.
All right.
Just it has to be a fun experience.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
And I think right now it's like when you play against another player, it's a really high level experience because you play against someone that really knows what they're doing. It's awesome, and the AI experience needs to be close to that. It's never going to be. It's obviously there's a lot that goes into creating an AI for a game like this because there's so many different decision trees to make. I mean, you have to take AP into account. You have to take each soldier's move rating into account. Just all kinds of things. Do they save resources to go into epic form? All that stuff. So we just need to build it out a little more to make it more compelling. Yeah. I kind of didn't want to have campaigns out there and have new players migrate the campaigns and like, oh man, this isn't that fun. Because right now our strength is the competitive multiplayer, and it's really fun. So it just has to get close to that.
Yeah,
and then we could do things like special limited edition cards that you can only get by completing campaigns and stuff like that.
All right then, that's awesome. Right. So yeah. I think I've pretty much got everything to ask you, unless anyone else in chat has anything else to ask. But yeah, so why don't we finish off by explaining why people should play your game?
Just play it. It's awesome. No, it's just a fun game. I mean, there's a lot of games out there, but it truly is a free-to-play game. So very little risk.
Yeah.
And it's if you like thought-provoking strategy games, it's a thinking man's game. It's not, a Twitch shooter or anything like that. It's something that really, for me, it kind of taps that competitive, kind of like, people that like to play chess or stuff like that. I think it's a good kind of different mix of a couple different genres, and it's easy to play, and it's not that hard to pick up.
Yeah, exactly. Like you've also got the different modes. Obviously, you can sit down and sit there and play a full match, or you can just log on and play the 5 extended matches turns that you've got rolling, and then do the same the next day and just kind of roll it on like that. So you kind of cater to a lot of different audiences like that as well. And the question just popped into my head as well, just quickly. Like you plan to add other kind of game modes like extended and quick match, maybe like a quick turn format, so like like the chess with the time clock.
Like a chess timer.
Yeah.
That would be a great option right there.
Yeah.
Is say you have a match, you compete, you match up with a player, you have 30 minutes total, and as it's your turn, your timer is ticking down, and
I think
whoever has the most progress by the time the timer goes to 0 wins. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be really nice. Yeah, so pretty much. So if you've got anything else to add, I think we'll end it there.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody else has ideas like that, please come to our forums on conquestofchampions.com, and we have a very, very active community throwing out all kinds of really good ideas, and any good ideas that we see as good, they get put on the board. So there's a lot of changes that have gone in the game over the last 3 months that have been from the players and from the community.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
The more the merrier.
Exactly, yeah, the more the merrier indeed, yeah. So if you haven't tried out the Conquest of Champions, you should, guys. It's an extremely good game. I'm getting very into it. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to play it extensively right now, but playing it as much as I can. But I will definitely be playing this a lot more and streaming it a lot more as well. So I look forward to
working. Well, we appreciate it.
No worries, of course. I'm happy to do it, So yeah, thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate it.
All right. See you, everybody.
All right, cheers, guys. Thanks.
Bye-bye.